Hello UCE parents and families. Hope you're all doing well. As I record this, it's the end of July and the summer is at least half over. Although for those of you who have to go to school in August, it's a little bit shorter. So make the most of these last few weeks as you can. This week, our Soulful Home packet covers At the Bedside and Our Blessing. And this will be our last week of doing our packet for this summer. In August, I'll be focusing my time and energies on recreating a program for this fall as we regather at UCE again. As a reminder, if you haven't completed the short survey I sent out in an email, please do so. I will send it again this week, and it also will be in the newsletter. So please look for that there. It should take you less than 5 minutes. Okay, let me light my chalice to get started here. I'm lighting my chalice in honor of our last week with our Soulful Home packet with our theme of play. Our author, Teresa Honey Youngblood, talks about play and the Japanese story from the Shinto religion called Amaterasu and the Cave. And the version that she suggests comes from this book, Circle Round, which is a book on the goddess tradition. So those of you who follow paganism or Wicca or anything probably have this book at home already. If you do and you want to read the story out loud to your kids, your young ones, it's on page 107 in this book. I will tell the story here, so if you want to just play this video, you certainly can. So the story goes like this, as retold by Starhawk. Amaterasu was the goddess of the sun. Golden and gleaming, she lived high in the heavens, giving warmth and light that gave life to all things on earth. One day she heard a great noise, approaching, a rumbling and crashing and banging noise. Oh no, she said to herself, that sounds like my brother Susanoo when he's had a bit too much to drink. Susanoo was the god of the oceans and the storms that bring thunder and lightning. When he was in a good mood, he could be kind and as gentle as the summer sea, but when he was in a bad mood, watch out. I'd better protect myself, Amaterasu thought. And she armed herself with a golden bow and silver arrows in a quiver. Stand back, she warned her brother when he arrived from the sky world. My sister, why do you always suspect the worst of me? He reproached her. I mean you no harm. I've only come to say goodbye before I go on a long journey. I've heard that one before, Amaterasu grumbled. This time it's true, Susanoo protested. I'll tell you what, we are both gods. To show my peaceful intentions, let us create something together. Let's use our divine power to make some children. All right, give me your sword, Amaterasu said. She broke the sword into 3 pieces, chewed them up, and blew life breath over them. And they became 3 goddesses. I can do better than that, Susanoo said. Give me your 5 necklaces of radiant jewels. He bit her necklaces, blew on them, and they became 5 gods. Very good, Amaterasu said, but since the gods you made came from my jewels, they are my children too. Now go on your way, go on your journey, and leave me in peace. And she took the children and went to bed. Well, Susanoo was so mad. All night long, while Amaterasu slept, he brooded, getting angrier and angrier. He stormed and thundered throughout the heavens and stomped over the earth, trampling the rice and breaking down the irrigation ditches. When he came to Amaterasu's temple, the sacred place where she wove the clothing of the gods for the New Year festival, he knocked down the walls and threw dung inside. By the time Amaterasu woke up, the roof was caving in. A spotted horse was rampaging through the sacred rooms, and her drunken brother was stumbling after it, running it through with his sword and defiling her temple with blood. Her weavers were so terrified that several of them pricked themselves with their own spindles and so died. Furious, Amaterasu ran into her cave of night, locking the door after her. "I'm not coming out again," she swore. "Who wants to shine in a world where a drunken madman like my brother can do so much harm?" So the world grew cold and dark. No sun shone to warm the earth, to coax the rice plants up out of the soil. Without the sun, all life began to die. The goddesses and gods grew worried. "We must get Amaterasu back," they cried. They found Susanoo and banished him from heaven. "Your brother is gone," they called to the sun goddess in her cave, but she refused to answer. "Please come out," they cried. "The people are dying." But still Amaterasu sulked. "What can we do? What can we do?" the goddesses and gods wondered. "How can we entice her out?" Finally, they came up with a plan. "Roosters crow to greet the dawn," one goddess suggested. "Let's bring them to the mouth of the cave." "Let us bring the sacred 8-armed mirror to reflect her glory," an old wise god suggested. "I will dance," cried the beautiful goddess Ama no Uzume. She dressed herself in leaves, set a tub upside down outside the mouth of the cave, and began to dance. Her feet pounded on the tub, making a great noise. Faster and faster she danced, becoming more and more wild with ecstasy until, in a frenzy, she tore the leaves away and danced naked. The other goddesses and gods laughed in delight. Amaterasu could hear the noise outside the cave, the roosters crowing, the tattoo of dancing feet, the laughter of the goddesses and gods. Curious, she peeked out of her cave. A sliver of light illumined the world. "What's going on?" Amaterasu asked. "The world has found a better goddess than yourself," Ama no Uzume proclaimed as she continued to dance. "Me? If you don't believe me, come out and take a look." But Amaterasu had caught sight of her own reflection in the 8-sided mirror. "What is that beautiful light?" she cried. "Whose is that beautiful face?" "It is you who are the radiant one," the goddesses and gods all cried out. "Don't hide your light. Come out and let us admire your beauty." "Is that really me?" Amaterasu opened the door wider, and the light grew even brighter. "How beautiful I am! Why should I hide such loveliness in a dark cave?" Enchanted by her own reflection, she threw the door open wide and emerged. The sun rose and the world turned warm and green again. And so all living things praised the warmth and beauty of the sun, for without the life-giving rays of Amaterasu, we could not live. The end. In our packet, we have some questions that you can share your thoughts about after reading the story. Here's a few of those questions. Played in a way that was scary and hurtful when he trashed his sister home. That was what Susanoo did. What are things you can do when someone else is playing in a way that upsets you? I'm sure you've all experienced that. Maybe someone wasn't playing fair. So what can you say or do when someone else is playing in a way that bothers you? Here's another one to think about. Uzume helped Amaterasu break out of her sadness by dancing and being playful. Has being playful ever cheered you up or cheered up someone you know that was a little sad maybe? And last but not least, Amaterasu peeked out of the cave because she felt left out of the fun that she heard behind the door. What are good strategies for joining in other people's play? And another question, what are some good strategies that you could use to include others in your play? So enjoy those questions and sharing time together. And in closing, the blessing of play written by the author of our Soulful Home Packet. Teresa says, "May the month ahead brim with merriment, with joy, with revelry and experiment in glorious, irrelevant efforts for no particular purpose but play. May we be each other's conspirators in gigglement and glee, in dashing and daring and delight. May we remember that children and crows and others and kittens, otters I should say, and kittens are wise in ways that we would do well to emulate. That is, in their instinctive impulse toward game and contest and exploration. This month may your body play, may your mind play, may your spirit play. And with the divine, the source of all ebullience everywhere, may you dance playfully to the music of your own light heart." Amen. Blessed be, and have a wonderful week.